double chin or sagging neck. Older women over 50 should avoid these hairstyles. You're not aging because of time. You only look older because people's eyes stop at the wrong place. And the worst part, it might be your haircut that's quietly guiding them there. Have you ever looked into the mirror not to do your makeup, not to fix your hair, but simply to see yourself? Maybe that day nothing seemed different. But then, your eyes landed on one tiny detail. The skin beneath your chin doesn't feel as firm. Your jawline, once defined, now looks softer. And your neck, once graceful and long, now shows a few gentle folds. Real humans, but enough to make you hesitate. The strange thing is you haven't changed much. But with the wrong haircut, it can feel like something's missing. A little light, a little spark, a little bit of you. We've been told that hair hides imperfections. But the truth is, when the cut is wrong, hair doesn't conceal. It highlights the very thing you're trying to soften. So the real question is your hair lifting your presence or quietly dragging attention down? And if adjusting just an inch or two could change everything, wouldn't you want to know? Stay with me. Because what you might need isn't a new haircut. It's a new way of cutting it. One that lets people see you the way you deserve to be seen. 1. The blunt bob. The safe haircut that might be aging you. There are styles that look polished. Some even called them timeless classics. But instead of highlighting your grace, they stop the eye right where you least want it to linger. And the blunt bob is a perfect example. It's neat, balanced, often praised for slimming the face. But after 50, when our facial contours begin to soften, when the jawline loses its sharpness, when the area beneath the chin becomes looser, this seemingly sleek cut becomes a frame, one that draws attention to exactly what you'd rather conceal. Picture this: you walk into a gathering wearing a simple, elegant dress. You feel okay until you see a photo. And suddenly, it's not your eyes, not your smile that stands out. It's the harsh, horizontal line of your hair, cut right at the jaw, visually shortening your neck and widening your chin. You haven't aged overnight, but somehow others are seeing you differently. And you start wondering if maybe it's you. It's not. It's your haircut reflecting back the wrong story. The blunt bob, especially those that stop at the chin with no layers or movement, create a hard edge, a visual full stop right where softness is most needed. And in visual language, where your hair ends is where people's eyes land. When that's at the jawline, a place that naturally changes with age, you're accidentally spotlighting your most vulnerable area. Sound familiar? Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt your haircut made you look harsher, stricter, even a little severe? You're not imagining it. Because while a blunt bob is technically clean, it lacks what aging faces truly need: support. Instead of embracing your face, it splits it. Instead of guiding the eye toward your eyes, your cheeks, your smile, it holds the gaze at your jaw. And at this stage of life, that's rarely where we want attention to pause. But does that mean you have to abandon the bob? Not at all. The beauty of a bob is still alive, elegant, easy to style, and, if done right, truly flattering. The problem isn't the bob. It's the cut. Just let it fall 1 or 2 inches below the chin. Soften the harsh edge with a slight forward graduation. Add a few fine face-framing layers to let light in, to create movement, to breathe life into the structure. That one adjustment can shift everything. The way your face looks, the way people see you, the way you feel about your reflection. So pause. Ask yourself, am I choosing a haircut or choosing where people's eyes will settle on my face? And because when you change the line of the cut, you don't just change your style, you change the energy you radiate. You change the emotion that greets you in the mirror. Never underestimate the power of 1 inch. It can make your neck feel longer, your face feel lighter, your gaze feel brighter. And sometimes that shift in confidence is exactly what you need to step into your day, no longer hiding from yourself. So if you're currently wearing a chin-length blunt bob and something feels off, try this subtle shift. A longer length, a softer angle, a little layering. You don't need to cut shorter to look younger. You simply need to cut smarter, so that attention doesn't stop at your jaw, but lifts to your eyes, the place that's always carried your light, no matter how many years pass. And now, if the blunt bob made you feel severe, get ready, because the next style one that seems breezy and effortless might actually be doing something far more revealing. And chances are, you might be wearing it right now. 2. The pixie cut. Freedom or exposure. The pixie. To many, it's the haircut of freedom. Freedom from long, heavy hair. Freedom from hours of styling. Freedom from fuss. But sometimes, that freedom comes at a cost. The cost of feeling too exposed. And if you're standing at the threshold of 50, you may have felt that strange contradiction, wanting simplicity, yet feeling more revealed than ever. For many women, a pixie cut is a declaration, a fresh start, a soft rebellion after years of loyalty to long locks. It feels bold, empowering, new. But when it's cut too short, too tight around the ears, too bare at the nape, it becomes an open invitation for the eyes of others to settle exactly where you don't want them. The gentle folds of your neck, the softening under your chin, the jawline that no longer holds the sharpness it once did. Have you ever noticed? When hair is cut close to the ears, your face suddenly feels sharper, boxier, unfamiliar? That's not your imagination. It's because the vertical cut from temple to jaw no longer offers the gentle arc that once framed your features. Instead, it breaks the natural flow from cheekbone to cheek to collarbone, and from the side. Where there used to be harmony, now there's something harsh, angular, and honestly, not very you. That's why so many women say, after their first short pixie, I feel like I look like someone else. It's not that the cut isn't beautiful, it just isn't kind to this stage of your face. It exposes what you're still learning to accept. And perhaps the saddest part? You don't feel freer. You feel like you're hiding, even more. But don't worry, you don't have to grow your hair back out. You don't have to give up on the idea of change. Because the problem isn't the pixie. It's the proportions. What you need is a smarter structure. A cut with intention, one that knows what to reveal, and what to gracefully guide the gaze away from. Start with the sides. Don't crop too close. Keep just enough softness around the cheeks, and instantly your face feels lifted, your features reshaped. The eye moves upward, not down. Now look at the nape. Instead of cutting a harsh vertical line, let it taper. Let it curve gently from behind the ear down the neck. That's not just good technique, that's visual support. That's the art of framing your beauty. And don't overlook the crown. A little lift, whether natural or from a light blowout, creates an instant facelift effect. It balances any weight around the jaw. It brings light and focus back to your eyes. And that subtle boost? It changes everything about how you carry yourself. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, what's really making me feel tired my age? Or the direction people's eyes keep going? Because when every part of your haircut, from neck to ears to jaw, is sharp, bare, and exposed, eyes go down. And when their eyes go down, so does your mood. But when your crown is lifted, when your cheeks are softly embraced, when your neck is curved gently, you not only look younger, you feel like standing taller, turning your head, smiling with ease. And there's one more small detail, tiny but powerful, a side-swept bang. A soft fringe that floats across your forehead does more than add dimension. It shortens a long forehead, balances your facial proportions, and leads the gaze right to where it belongs, your eyes, not your chin. Don't dismiss bangs as something for teenagers. When cut with care, they become your most powerful tool to shift attention upward, to soften, to center you. So no, the pixie cut isn't the enemy. The problem is when it's shaped like you're trying to fight your age. When what you really need is a cut that understands your face and supports it gently. A touch of softness, a curve instead of a corner, a whisper of movement instead of stillness. That's all it takes for you to look in the mirror and see, not the woman from 10 years ago, but the woman you are today, clear, confident, unapologetically elegant, and unafraid of any gaze. And if you've ever felt like the pixie made you feel too seen, get ready, because the next haircut may surprise you even more. It's a style many call safe, feminine, easy to wear. But in reality, it might be quietly placing a heavy curtain across your face, not hiding you, but slowly weighing you down. every single day. 3. Long straight hair, sensual or slowly pulling you down. Long hair, it's the symbol of femininity, of softness, grace, nostalgia. But sometimes it also tells a different story, one that whispers you're holding on to something, a radiant past, an older version of yourself, a reflection you no longer see in the mirror, but still can't quite let go of. Many women over 50 keep their long hair, not because it makes them glow, but because it feels familiar. Because for decades, it's been part of who they are. And the thought of cutting even a few inches feels like saying goodbye to a piece of the past. But what you might not realize is this: that same hair, when left unshaped, unmoving, might be quietly pulling every gaze downward instead of lifting you up. Long straight hair with no layers, no movement, seems light, elegant, safe. But in reality, it acts like a heavy curtain. It frames your face, covers your shoulders, and draws all visual weight to the bottom half of your features. Suddenly, instead of people noticing your eyes, your cheeks, your smile, their gaze drifts down to your chin, to your neck, to the collarbone where time has quietly begun to leave its trace. If you've started to notice the softening under your chin, faint folds around the neck, or your cheeks gently settling, this kind of hairstyle doesn't hide it. It highlights it. You thought you looked fine until someone snapped a photo in profile, and you saw it. Your face felt like it had lengthened. Your eyes lacked a resting point. And no matter how bright your lipstick or how carefully placed your highlight, it felt like the weight of your hair was pressing everything down. Why? Because without layers, there's no lift. Without movement, there's no light. When everything falls in a straight line from crown to chest, it visually pulls your face downward, leaving no space for sparkle, no room for lift. It's like a photograph with no focal point. Everything is there, but nothing truly shines. And here lies the truth. You don't look tired, but your hair is leading the gaze in the wrong direction. So, does this mean you have to cut it short? Absolutely not. You can keep your length, but bring it back to life. Let your hair stop acting like a curtain and start becoming a frame that lifts, defines, and supports you. How? Start with soft layers around the cheekbones. They catch the light, add gentle motion, and guide the eye toward the center of your face. Add a subtle wave at the temples or around the collarbone, and suddenly your face is no longer being dragged downward. It's being embraced, uplifted. The vertical line is broken, replaced by softness that moves with you. Not ready for a big change? Even something as simple as a soft, off-center fringe, just a gentle swoop across the forehead, can reroute the gaze away from your chin and back to your eyes. This is the moment to pause and ask yourself, am I holding on to this hair because I'm trying to hold on to an old image instead of finding a new way to celebrate who I am today? Change doesn't have to be loud. You don't have to chop everything off. Just a few thoughtful tweaks, and suddenly others see you differently. More importantly, you see yourself more kindly. A hairstyle that speaks to your age doesn't try to hide anything. It honors the years, it hugs your face, and it gently directs the eye to where your story still shines. Your eyes, your smile, your spirit. And if you've always believed long hair was a sign of softness, the next part may surprise you. Because with the right structure, no matter the length, a haircut can become a frame of art. Not one that asks you to give up the hair you love, but one that finally lets you take center stage. And in the next section, I'll give you the blueprint, detail by detail, to turn your haircut into a masterpiece that lifts, flatters, and redefines without sacrificing a single strand more than you're ready to let go of. 4. The golden rule. Hairlines guide the eye. Hair isn't just hair. It's the quiet guide for where people look. That might sound simple, but it's the golden rule that separates an ordinary haircut from one that makes you look radiant, even without a touch of makeup. Imagine your face is a painting, and your hair, the frame. A well-chosen frame makes the whole portrait glow. The wrong one? It distracts the eye, drawing attention to places that don't need a spotlight. And the truth is, this happens every day. Quietly, when you walk into a room, when someone sits across from you, even when you catch your own reflection while washing your hands, when your hair stops right at the jawline, so does the gaze. And if that jawline has softened, if the chin has lost some of its firmness, if the neck no longer holds the smoothness it once did, then that gaze shifts from admiration to examination. When long, straight hair hangs with no movement, no layers, no lift, the eyes are pulled down. And no matter how carefully you apply your blush, how bright your lipstick, your face can still feel heavy. Now imagine this instead. A touch of volume at the crown, and the eye naturally lifts. Soft movement around the cheeks, and the gaze is drawn to your smile. A subtle side-swept fringe, and light cascades across your eyes, making them the first thing people notice. Your whole face feels elevated, not because of surgery, not because of makeup, but because you finally understood how hair works with vision. This isn't marketing fluff. It's visual biology, human instinct. Our eyes follow lines. Where there's a break, the eye stops. Where there's flow, the eye moves. And once you understand that, you gain the power to direct the gaze exactly where you want it to go. You don't need a whole new haircut. What you need is a new perspective. Maybe a slight change in length, a little movement near the cheeks, a soft lift at the crown, tiny shifts that completely transform how people see you and how you see yourself. So pause right now and ask yourself, is my current haircut guiding eyes toward my smile or pulling them down toward my neck? Because where people look is where your energy gathers. If their gaze always lands on your chin or jaw, you may start to feel like you live there too, shrinking inward. But if they're drawn to your eyes, your cheeks, your smile, suddenly you feel open, alive, radiant. Not because you look younger, but because you're finally being seen where it matters most. That is the true purpose of hair after 50, not to hide, but to guide. Not to conceal, but to reveal. And if you're ready to understand how every detail, each cut, each layer, each inch, can become a quiet guide for your confidence, then what comes next is your final formula, a blueprint for how to shape your hair, not to match a trend, but to honor who you are today. Because what you've just taken isn't a lesson in hairstyles. It's a journey in how you're seen and how every line of a haircut can lift the gaze toward your light, not away from it, to the smile that still softens a room, to the eyes that still sparkle with stories, to the presence that only time could create. You don't need to look young. You need to be reflected honestly as the woman you've spent years becoming. Seasoned, gentle, powerful. The right haircut isn't the one getting the most likes. It's the one that makes you pause in the mirror and whisper, "That's me. Me today, and I still look beautiful." So next time you're in the salon chair, don't ask, "What's trendy right now?" Ask, "What helps me feel most like me?" Because a truly flattering haircut has nothing to do with inches, volume, or color, and everything to do with one question: does this lift me or weigh me down? And hair should never highlight what makes you doubt yourself. It should support what makes you proud.